Hello, welcome to class. Today we are going to talk about multiplication of numbers. We'll go through when you want to multiply one digit number by one digit number, which is commonly known as a times table. Then when you want to multiply two digit numbers by one digit number, three digit number by one digit, and then two digits by two digits, then three digits by two digits. Definitely, we can't cover everything in just this video. So this is going to be the first part of the video. You might need to subscribe, click on the notification button so that you can be able uh, to see, so that you'll be able to see the part two of the video. So let's get started. All right, so multiplication of numbers. Multiplication of numbers. How do we multiply one digit by one digit? If you notice, in early part of key stage one, you would have learned how to count in numbers. What do I mean by that? Sometimes they want you to count in twos. So when they say count in twos, you say 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Then we say when they say count in threes, you say 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So basically what you're doing when you are counting in twos or when you are counting in threes is you are saying the times table, you are saying the multiplication table of 2, or you say the multiplication table of 3. So I'm not going to stay too long on one digit by one digit because I know that we would have covered those in key stage 1. If you have not, you can check. We have a video on that as well. But I'm just going to do a little recap of that before I move to two digit by one digit. So basically, if you want to do one digit by one digit multiplication, let's have example. Example says calculate 8 multiplied by 5, 9 multiplied by 6, and then you have 7 multiplied by 3. So for 8 multiplied by 5, what we'll do basically for 8 multiplied by 5 is to count 5 8 times or count in 8 5 times. So you either count in 5 8 times or you count in 8 5 times. So for me, I would prefer to count in 8 5 times. So you have the first one to be 8. The second one, you need to just add 8. So usually I can use my fingers to say, okay, I have 8. Then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So every time I count 8 of my fingers in addition. So if I start from 8, I have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So the next number is going to be 16. That's the second time. Then you go to the third time. That's you're counting in 8. Then you have that as 24. You have that's 32. And then the fifth one is going to be 40. So the fifth one is the answer. 8 times 5 is 40. If you want to do the second one as well, you have 9 times 6. So for this, I would prefer to count 6 9 times. Count in 6 9 times. So you have 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and this is the ninth one. So the answer to 9 times 6 is 54. So I'm not dwelling so much on them because I know these are things that we must have learned in key stage 1. And this is a key stage 2 math. So it's just for me to do a little recap. So the next one is going to be 7 times 3. So I can count 7 3 times 7, you have 14, then you have 21. So this is the answer to 7 times 3. Now let's go to the real deal, which is when you want to multiply two digits by one digit. This is where after I've given you examples, I'm going to give you exercises. For the first one, I'm not going to give you any exercise on that. Two digits by one digit. How do you multiply two digits by one digit? I've had a couple of smart students. In fact, all of my students are smart, right? But I've had a couple of exceptional ones who they want to work at the same time. They don't want to stay too long on it. So they develop a lot of methods I don't want to say lazy methods, but a lot of methods on how they can solve multiplication, which I have learned from them. So let's move to 2 digits by 1 digit. So when you want to multiply 2 digits by 1 digit, how do you do it? So let's have example. Calculate 24 multiplied by 6, 32 multiplied by 7, 41 multiplied by 3. 24 multiplied by 6. Let's start from there. So I'm going to explain two different methods to us today. The first one is called box method, and then the second one is called column method. So for the box method, what we do is we'll break down the 24 to 20 plus 4. That is the 2 digit number. You break down the 2 digit number. Usually, we put it in a box. We'll see that better when we get to 2 digits multiplied by 2 digits, right? So usually we put them in a box, then you multiply each of them. So for this now, split your 24 to 20 plus 4. Usually the tens number plus the unit number, since we are dealing with 2 digits. So if it was 45 you had there, you split it to 40 plus 5. If it was 56 we have there, you will split it to 50 plus 6. If it is 73 we have there, you will split it to 70 plus 3. So it's usually a tens number plus the unit number, and you multiply it by 6. So what you do is you do 20 times 6, and then you do 4 times 6. So why we do this is because when you change it to a tens number, you don't actually need to count 6 20 times. All you need to do is to pick the number you have here, use it to multiply 6, which is 12, then add the 0 at the back. If you have 30 times 8, for example, you only need to do 3 times 8. Then you add 0 to it. If you have 50 times 6, for example, you only need to do 5 times 6, then you add 0 to it. So 20 times 6, you do 2 times 6, which is 120. Then you add 0, which is 12. Then you add 0 to it to make it 120. Now you go to 4 times 6, which is 24. Then you add both of them together. If you add 120 plus 24, it gives you 144. This implies that 24 multiplied by 6 is 144. This is box method. So I'm going to use box method to solve the 3 question. I will give you exercise to also use box method. Then I will use column method to solve another set of 3 questions, and then I will give you exercise to work on them as well. So for the second one now, we have 32 times 7. 32 times 7. Don't forget, what we'll do is we pick the 2-digit number, which is 32. And then we'll break it down into the tens value plus the unit value. That is 30 plus 2. Then we multiply each of them by 7. So you have 30 times 7. Don't forget I said to do 30 times 7, what you need to do basically is 3 times 7. This is why I showed us how to do 1 digit by 1 digit. 3 times 7, you can count 7 3 times, or you count 3 7 times. So you have 30 times 7. 3 times 7 is 21. So you write 21 and then you put 0 at the back. So that's 30 times 7 is 210. Then you pick the remaining part, which is 2 times 7. 2 times 7 is 14. Now you add both of them together, and that gives you 224. This means that 32 times 7 is 224. All right, let me take the third example, which is 41 times 3. 41 times 3. So for 41 times 3, don't forget we need to split 41 to the tens value plus the unit value. Then you multiply each by 3. That means 40 times 3. To do 40 times 3, you take the 4 and you multiply by 3 to give you 12. Then you put 0 at the back. Also 1 times 3, that gives you 3. If you add both of them together, that is 123. So this implies that 41 times 3 is 123. That is box up method. So I think I want to give one more example actually. If you have something like 56 times 7, 56 times 7 now you have 56 to be 50 plus 6. And then you multiply each by 7. Doing that, you have 50 times 7, which gives you 5 times 7 is 35. You add 0 to the back. Then you have 6 times 7, which is 42. So adding both of them together gives you 392. So 56 times 7 is 392. Now I'm going to give you exercise. I want you to pause the video after I write the question. I want you to pause it, answer it, and then you can play it back to see the solution. So exercise. All right, you have your question now. You can write them down, work them out. Don't forget to use boxed method. Work them out, then give the answer after that. Then you can play the video and then you see my answer to the question. I give you 3 seconds. Welcome back. Now the answers are here. So the first one we have 288. The second one we have 252. The third one we have 203. So if you are not able to get these answers, you might need to go back, watch the video again, then try the question again and ensure that you have the correct answer. So I want to quickly work on the second method that I call the column method. I want to use column method to solve the same set of questions. Yeah, I think solving the same set of questions will be better so that we can validate the answers. So I'm going to work on 24 times 6. 24 times 6, so you have 6 times 4. 6 times 4 gives us 24. So you write 4, you keep 2. And then 6 times 2 gives us 12. However, you kept 2 somewhere before. So you add it to the 12 to make it 14. So 24 times 6 gives us 144, which is the same as what we got here. Then we also go to the second one, which is 32 times 7. You write them in column like this. Then you have 7 times 2 is 14. You write 4, you keep 1. Then you do 7 times 3, which is 21, plus the 1 you had before. That makes it 22. So you have 224. So you have the same answer. Then we move on to the third one, which is 41 times 3. So 41 times 3, you have 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 4 is 12. So since there is nothing to keep, you don't have anything to add. So that's just 123, which is the same as what we got earlier. And lastly, on this note, we have 56 times 7. 56 times 7. So you have 7 times 6, which is 42. So you write 2, you keep 4. You have 7 times 5, which is 35, plus the 4 you kept, that is 39. So that is 392, which is the same as what we got. So I want you to also use column method to attempt these questions we have in the exercise and see if you are going to get the same answer as you had before. So quickly, I want us to touch when you want to multiply 2 digits by, 3 digits rather, by 1 digits. 3 digits by 1 digits. So let's have examples. So we have 361 multiplied by 4. I'm going to use box method firstly. 361 multiplied by 4. So what we're going to do firstly is to split it up. So 361 can be written as the 100th value is 300, the 10th value is 60, and then the unit value is 1. So that is 300 plus 60 plus 1. And you want to multiply by 3 by 4 means that you multiply each of them by 4. So it's just the same as when you had 2 digits by 1 digit as well. So you multiply 300 by 4. And don't forget, what you do is just 3 times 4, which is 12. And then you put two zeros at the back. And you have 60 times 4. You do 6 times 4, which is 24. And you put 1 0 at the back, then you have 1 times 4, which gives us 4. So what you need to do is to add the 3 together. If you do that addition, you're going to have 1,444. 1,444. That means 361 times 4 is equal to 1,444. All right, I'm going to pick the second example, which is 243 multiplied by 3. So what you do as well is to split 243 into the hundredth value plus the tenth value plus the unit value. And then you multiply each of them by 3. So you have 200 multiplied by 3. You just do 2 times 3, which is 6. And you put 2 zeros at the back. 40 multiplied by 3, you just do 4 times 3, which is 12. And you put 0 at the back. Then you have 3 multiplied by 3, which is 9. So you add them together, and you see this is going to give you 729. So that means 243 multiplied by 3 is 729. So it is time for exercise. All right, so let's go through these questions. Okay, so we have 182 times 6, 421 times 8. I want you to go through these questions, write them in your notes, work them out using box method, and you can pause the video a couple of seconds. I will write the answer out. Welcome back. So we have the answer. For the first one, it is 1,092. For the second one, it is 3,368. 3,368. So I want you to check it with your answer. If you are correct, well done. If you didn't get them correctly, don't worry, just go through the video again and try it again. I'm sure you're going to get it correctly. So quickly, I will show us how to use column method for the same set of multiplication. So for the first one, we have 361 times 4. So what you do is 4 times 1 is 4. You do 4 times 6. 4 times 6 is 24. So you write 4 and you keep 2. Then you do 4 times 3. 4 times 3 is 12. And then you add these two to it, makes 14. So that is it. For the second one, we have 243. You multiply by 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 4 is 12. I think maybe you're asking this question that when you get 12, how do you know which of the two numbers you write down? You always write the last digits. So 3 times 4 is 12, so you write 2, and then you keep the first digits. You keep 1. Then 3 times 2 is 6. You add 1 to it, that is 7. So I want you to use column method as well to solve these exercises and see if you are going to have the same answer. We are going to stop here today. We will continue in our next video. We will continue with the same topic because we need to still touch when you multiply 2 digits by 2 digits, when you multiply 3 digits by 2 digits. So stay tuned, subscribe, click on the notification button so that you'll be notified when we put up the part 2 of the video. Thank you. Bye.